welcome back. Right. So, I don't know, I kind of feel we should try this as a friendly, but we just don't have time. And the training league matches just, again, the results don't matter that much. So, absolutely, we will be approaching things differently for the proper league matches. But I think I would definitely stress for, the point of the training league is that it's just sort of like for training, for trying things and whatever. You can very much think of them like friendlies, and that's the intention. Like, it shouldn't, because you need time. You need some time to sort of be able to get your, to work stuff out, basically, to get a few players to work some stuff out. So we're kind of just trying to deal with it like you should be dealing with it, basically, as a new user. But next season, when we're in the league, we'll worry a lot more about the actually securing match results more consistently than we are now. So I definitely feel like this tactic should be tried or whatever. I feel like it's like got a fundamental flaw with these two box-to-box midfielders. We maybe could just change it now. I think the obvious fix is to change one of them to be a central midfielder. If we were to do so, it's probably this guy. So, if we could just change that very quickly if the match isn't working well for us. That's one thing as well. I feel like if the intention was to try to get this tactic working, that we would be doing that, but I'm not sure we are. I don't really know at this point. We don't have a very deep squad, so we kind of need to shuffle things around for injuries and whatnot. Right. So basically, I feel like, okay, so let's just do this. Like I said, we're gonna make that guy a central midfielder, but probably we want the box to box on this side. Coming up here, probably here. Now we're back to basically where we originally were, I think. Except this guy's central instead of attacking. That's not ideal. Alright, so let's because we basically want this guy here, which I think means the box to box is on this side. Which I think means that happens. And then I think we need to swap these guys, and this guy needs to become central defender, and this guy needs to be a stopper. Man, this is going to be... We just got used to everything the other way around. This is interesting because it isn't necessarily just inverted from our original formation, because this wide roll, we're not moving that over. So the reason for that is basically, one, the players are more suited to these roles as they are. The left and right midfield. But the second reason is that we want our attacking, this guy in particular, to try to be a little bit isolated and not have easy options to pass. So hopefully when we're defending, this guy will drop back. This guy will be up a bit more, so he will be isolated, but then this guy will arrive late and maybe provide a good option. Maybe this is actually a better tactic anyway than what we originally had, potentially. Anyway, we're about to find out, I suppose, because we're going to play a match with it. And then maybe it's not... Okay, so sorry, it's got another change from my original tactic, that this guy's central midfielder instead of attacking midfielder. And maybe this just gets us a little bit more to where we need to be balance-wise, because we say we sort of need one more body back. He's not technically back, I guess, to help as much as we would ideally like for defense, but he's not forward. And he does help us control the midfield more. So it isn't entirely what we want, but it's some ways there. It does provide one less option going forwards. But that's okay. I think. So, well, say that's okay. That's something that yeah, hopefully is okay. That might be the better way to put it. And this guy should be creative forward. So we need to just pause straight away. This is why you need to, if you're playing proper matches, you need to properly sort this stuff out, and ideally player friendly when you're making these changes, if for no other reason, just to make sure that you get extra window to make sure that everything's set correctly. We luckily noticed that, but it's possible as well that we might be 20, 30, 40 minutes into the match before we maybe even, maybe still didn't even notice. So, okay, good chant. Goodish. Good enough. Okay. That was pretty well worked. And that comes through the creative forward, basically. He enables that type of chance to happen better for us. I'm just going to pause because I feel like I'm looking at stuff and I feel like something's not optimized here. Alright, so I think we want these guys the other way around, I think. Which is starting to get... Yeah, okay, because we want this guy arriving ideally more in the middle. His goal scoring stuff isn't perfect, or far from it, but ideally. And also when he's getting back, he's more likely to be... Let's just try this. I do feel like the problem is that it's very engineered for the attacking play to go through the left, when one of our strongest attacking players is our right midfielder. So that's not ideal. Basically, this ideally would be a friendly right now, because we really don't know what we're doing. We're really just shuffling one problem around for another problem, pretty much. Which kind of makes me think maybe we should have just gone with what we originally... We'll watch this a bit, but if it's not too impressive, I think we'll just switch to what we originally had, because the whole reason why we... Now, this is what I'm talking about. We want our... This is a creative forward, and that's a goal scoring threat there. So that's the difference. Like, it's way more easier to justify that player who isn't going to contribute in the midfield. He's not going to contribute defensively. He's not going to contribute really for our attacking to defensive transitions. And in order to justify all of that, especially for a tactic that's very lean defensively, it has to be a threat to score goals, a reasonable goal scoring threat, pretty much. And he set that one up there. He could have took a shot himself, but he laid it back, and he also laid it back to the box-to-box midfielder that we got more central to get a better shooting angle. Who, I think it's very reasonable to say that that goal happened because the shooting angle was smack bang in the middle. If he's out, if it's a worse angle, like it was the type of chance that can be scored from that angle, but from a worse angle, it doesn't score very often at all. But straight away, you're saying, basically, the creative forward has scored one and very, very directly set one up. To the point where, like, maybe you'd rather him shoot it there, even though he passed it and it worked out to be a goal. So, possibly he could just have 2 goals. We got away with that. Anyway. So you need this, like... you need your creative forward to basically be this dangerous to justify the spot. We need him to be this dangerous. There's other tactics that may not be true, by the way. It doesn't have to necessarily be this dangerous to justify your spot. I mean, if you're way more short up defensively, you know, all of your attacking players are generally going to have a much harder time of it. But for us, we have a decent attacking threat anyway. You know, a good one anyway. Like, it needs to significantly add to that threat to justify not having a stronger defense instead. So they had one really good chance. If we were really unlucky, we wouldn't have... Well, that second goal, that could have just missed. The first goal, you'd be unlucky. It is possible, though, that we'd have 0 goals right now, and they could have 1. But I do feel, on the whole, watching this match right now, it is just the case, like, we are 2 goals up. And it's that classic thing that we say quite a bit, like, I feel like if we leave it, they may score, but it's more likely we will score a third. And I feel like it's quite unlikely they would score 2. So it's kind of the safest thing is basically just to leave it, rather than trying to get fancy and potentially making a change that makes things much worse. And again, this is our creative forward, just getting forwards in a threatening position. And he's not like lightning fast. He's just fast enough, you know. And he's not like a world-class finisher. He's just good enough. That's the thing. He's just quite well-rounded and all that stuff to just generally be a threat. And our tactic unlocks him, so to speak. Like, he's generally going to have space. He's generally not going to be directly marked. And you just need him to be good enough to take advantage of that. So I feel like potentially... Yeah, it's very weird, because it's like... With this player in this role, it works really well, but with the other AMC, it really doesn't work as well. I mean, the other one, by the way, again, I've said a few times, but we've accidentally bought him. We didn't mean to buy him. So he wasn't... he's not horrible. We didn't... if he was, then we wouldn't have accidentally bought him, because he was just very similar to another player that we wanted, same nationality and everything, position, whatever. Very similar attributes, but just some defining differences that mattered, basically. Just a little bit less of a goal scoring threat, basically, which makes him... this is a really good cutback. So that's our isolated right winger that we just want to advance and basically do that. The goals have been pretty good, to be honest. You've got to be happy with that. I'll bring a Krieg in. I'll leave him as the box-to-box because it's going to take some more energy so this guy can last a bit longer. Otherwise, if he had higher condition, maybe we would swap these guys, but that's why I'm not. You know, so this guy's out, so despite his quite high endurance, natural fitness, whatever, just because of his role is very demanding box-to-box, combined with him being very fast and him just, you know, moving faster, it does, you know, he does tire. There's other matches where he lasts it though, or at least lasts longer. It's really interesting because this is kind of just, in a way, this is just a flip side of the... we saw a very clear example why having this creative forward role is just a luxury, and now we've seen another example, like how the luxury just pays off basically, and he single-handedly just, I guess, won us the game from the perspective that it was after what he did, it was won, and you know, now we've scored other goals that don't really mean anything as such. The game is already won, but for the goals that mattered, and again, he's here coming through a bit, you know, not the best chance or whatever, but again, just being dangerous. So Right now, we do have 2 subs. I think we should just with 1, so we should just be looking to try to protect our team a bit. I think our striker can come out because he won't come out anyway. And I guess this he can't because we don't have the sub for him. So I guess so the other options are DC, MR, AMC. I think the DCs are the ones that hurt us the most. So I'll just sub this guy out. I mean, by that, I mean them getting injured hurts us the most. So these subs now, because the match is won, we're just keeping an eye on future matches at this point, and we just want to make sure that we do a little bit to protect ourselves against injuries. How much difference does this really make in this match? Unlikely make any difference. The same could be said of any match, but you do it every single match over the course of a whole season, and for sure it's gonna, 1 or 2, 3, who knows? But even if it's just one injury that it helps with over the course of a whole season, that's potentially a key player. It's potentially 6 or 7 matches. It's potentially a whole bunch of drop points, all because you didn't do this. You just need to make sure you do it in situations where it's not going to impact the match result. In this particular case, we're winning. We're doing it because we know it's not going to result in a draw or a loss. But the other time you can do this is when you're losing a match and you just know that you can't. You're not going to get a result when you're losing. And I think it's that one in particular, to be honest, that whilst there are quite a few people that will make these kind of subs when they're winning, there's not very many people that make this sub to protect these players from injury and to plan for future matches when they're losing. So that's definitely a very big place for improvement. There's our creative forward again, it's just totally different when this guy's out there, basically. Okay. And again, this is what I'm talking about. Like, this guy's got injured, he subbed on. So it's not good or whatever that our backup striker is injured, but it's better than our starting striker being injured. So straight away, we're back in, and we weren't umming and ahhing about selling our backup striker, but our third choice striker. But the biggest problem with that, really, is that we kind of only have 3 viable strikers. So if we get one out like this, we definitely need, we could conceivably get by with never subbing this guy off. But the thing is, again, we're just increasing the chance of getting injured by never subbing him off. So, and it's totally possible that we could have 2 strikers out at once. So basically, we can't sell this guy because we need at least 3 strikers. That's what it comes down to. They're not necessarily 3 good ones, but just 3 usable ones. And that was maybe a bad decision to sell the striker in our starting squad, because he was totally usable probably this season and next. No real future there, but because he was 30, but he had the minimum wages. That's the thing. So anyway, it's all done now. So I think even though we got this bid, we're basically not selling. We can't really sell this guy until we get another striker in. And same could be said of all of the strikers. I mean, I think we don't want to sell this guy. This guy is exactly what we want. This guy, not exactly. It's not ideal that we're paying 250k wages for a player that normally doesn't even sit on the bench. And this other striker that just got injured, I don't know. He's pretty good, and it is definitely a strength that we've got 2 really good strikers. But the wage is a bit high, especially for what is normally a substitute at the moment. But I don't know, that may change tactically in the future. So I'm not panicking. I'm certainly not going to rush to sell this guy without a bid for him, I think. So yeah. So we get Catania back. Yeah, so now we've actually got all of them for the first time. So now we've got a decision to make. So we need to look at that. So Octai should definitely be probably that one. This one should be here. And then the question is, the guy that just got a 10 and subbed off, should he be starting over... I mean, probably. This guy doesn't really have a future anyway in the team. So he might as well be going with the guys that do, basically. This will be the first time he's ever come off the bench, I think. Yeah. He's had a pretty good run, though, I have to say. For us? Right. So this kind of worked, obviously. I mean, we won quite comfortably. I would say... yeah, just so dangerous. And I guess this guy he's forced to even do more because this guy isn't attacking midfielder. So he was sort of like unlocked a little bit more. This might be a better overall balance. It's also, yeah. We'll try it again because I think that was very comfortable, that 3-0 win. So we'll just try the tactic again. At the end of the day, having quite a few variations of this tactic is kind of a good thing, to be honest. Like, because of the fact that players will get injured, different personnel, and like we're saying, the reality is that this is just way stronger when we have the right player, when we have our first choice creative forward, when we have the backup. This doesn't work anywhere near as well. So whilst the first choice one is available, we can roll with this. If he's not available, we can roll with a different variant that doesn't use it. So just having a few different variants of the formation is just very useful to deal with different types of injuries. The other thing we need to bear in mind at the moment is that we do have the striker out for 6 matches. And if we get our starting one injured at the same time, that is going to be a big deal for us. We only have one other striker. He's definitely a big step down from the other two. And, we just need to be aware of that. And the main thing we can do about that is just... That was the creative forward again, by the way. I took that shot. The main thing we can do is just sub him off to make sure he doesn't get injured, basically. So, as soon as we think that... creative forward getting dangerous again. Setting that up. Really well set up. Shame we missed because... denied our creative forward an assist. But just so dangerous. So dangerous. And again, he doesn't have any particularly high attributes. It's just all the stuff that matters is, relatively high. But he doesn't have anything really high. Just a lot of stuff around the 70 sort of mark. Alright, so that's kind of working now. When this guy's got the ball, he is just running up the wing with it generally, which is what we want. Tough angle, but scores. Okay, that's the thing. Doesn't matter how tough the angle is. As long as you get that first shot on target, something might happen, basically. And it did. So, finishing, in that particular case, finishing matters. And that guy's got pretty good finishing. Creative forward. getting in that spot. Very dangerous, I've got to say. It's quite remarkable how different the whole entire feeling is because of that one player, who's not necessarily that great, but I mean, the thing is, he's great for the tactic, I suppose. Okay, happy to give that up. He's isolated. He's probably just going to try and dribble, which is kind of what we want. Yeah, okay, cool. Fouled. Oh, this is looking okay. Good. Shame. On the whole, we're looking like not having that many shots, but we are creating quite a bit of situations that I'm happy to be creating. Again, that's the thing, like as long as that shot is on target, something might happen, and you can see something nearly did. It's why shooting is does matter for these wide players, because when they cut in, they're unlikely to score from those angles, but the thing is, as long as they get it on target, something can happen. So, just that having the high finishing just results in more chances those shots will be on target, even though they're probably not going to score anyway. But it's not about scoring directly from that shot. It's really about earning a corner, for example. Yeah. Oh, it's gone straight through. Luckily that's the right midfielder. He's got the throw in. These last 5 to 10 minutes of your match time has been less than impressive. We've basically just been really struggling to get it up the pitch. Yeah, no, I wasn't. I'm concerned. So maybe we don't have enough players in advanced positions when we're attacking. Don't think that's the issue. I feel like the issue is we're not giving the ball up in advanced positions. I feel like we're struggling to get it through the central midfield. So I guess there's two options here. So one is to try and get it through, or one is to just bypass it. Alright, let's just try and bypass it. Just try and play more like a counter-attacking system and just try and bypass it altogether and see. Just try it for a few minutes and pay attention and see if that helps. It's once we've just tried to play it through and they've picked it off. Okay, but this is good. Whether we shoot or not, it's still good. Okay, we're happy with that. Another one they've just... Oh, they didn't quite pick it off. Okay. Yeah, I feel better about this, to be honest. Even though we're not really having the shots, but I feel like we're just creating dangerous situations and just alleviating a lot of the pressure defensively by getting the ball up the pitch. Could just be a bit of luck involved, so we'll keep paying attention. But we'll stay with it for now. We're going to have our hand forced very soon anyway, with the condition of these players. We could really do with scoring that. Like, we could have really done with that second goal, so we can sub off these guys. Well, have a chance to sub them off. Yeah, not good. Alright, I'm going to cue the change up because this guy is going to have to come off very soon. Alright, coming off now. So, I think we're building towards this guy needing to come off soon as well. We definitely don't really want to leave him out when he's less than 80% condition, I think. We got other players getting tired. So I think we want to go to this him as box to box. So yeah. Alright, for now, maybe we keep it long ball whilst this guy's out there. It's not ideal, to be honest. Guess we can change that to an attacking winger to help a little bit. So let's do that. Just help a little bit with the synergy of the long ball. Oh, this is bad. Okay. Right. Good idea. Just execution not there. Okay, we've got enough bodies. He's a box-to-box midfielder and he scores. That's really good. Okay. Cue the change up now because this guy's on 80. So now we need to think about the fact that what we're doing doesn't really make that much sense. We've lost our relatively fast creative forward. We're going to lose our fast striker. So this whole approach doesn't make sense anymore. I think this guy can switch to poacher. We don't really want him involved in the build-up. I think this guy can change back to regular midfielder. I think we can keep the same setup, but we just want to give everybody more time to move up and down and get proper support forwards. So I think we change to this, and then I think we do have a question about... We'll just resume for now and see which of these guys, and we'll queue up a stoppage straight away. We're running out of pause time. We need to keep that in mind, just in case we got emergency time score for emergency measures. Let's just resume, hit pause again. We can sub the DC. The ML is getting tired. I think we can just sub the DC, to be honest, because we got a good one on the bench for once. And we can then, yeah, he's in the right role and everything, so I think we just do that. And the other thing this does is it just slows down the game a little bit, and which is good because it drains time because we're winning 2-0. Okay, into the poacher, has his shot. Oh, okay, something. Oh, missed. What a sitter. I don't know what there was some confusion going on between the outfield player and the keeper there, but we didn't capitalise on it. Yeah, but this is just what we want. Just the game sort of like stuck in midfield quite a bit here. It's just draining loads of time. Pretty much they've lost any opportunity now to score 2 goals. It's just not going to happen for them. So match 1. Okay. Cool. So we get through the match. No injuries in that one. Right, and we're up to the 6 matches. Only player injured now is the striker. Feels better, I've got to say. It is feeling... It feels better when this guy's out there. It feels better if he's not, that we're playing more stacked midfield. So we had a guy injured. It was this guy and he's back, but I don't think he even ends up on the bench. So yeah. We might just quickly check just the stats from that match and the one before, just quickly. So our right midfielder, he got a lot of dribbling touches. So that's good. Our creative forward actually had 2 pass attempts, 7 dribble touches. So he just got in a couple of dangerous situations to score, but he didn't really create that much for us that game. So that's worth bearing in mind. We'll check the other game as well. It might have just been a bit of a... And then... box-to-box midfielder, loads of involvement, basically. So let's see the other game. Yeah, so this game is very different, right? Like, he had 19 for 19 passes. Crazy. Got the assist, 56 dribble touches, 4 shots. Like, this game just massively... yeah, this game he was, like, showing exactly why. Big deal. But also cut off, you can just see, like, obviously our striker still ended up with 6 shots. But he just completely cut off from being involved in the build-up at all. Only 1 pass attempt the whole game. Only 7 dribble touches. So he's basically just there to shoot. So we've got to bear in mind that in order for in the match where this guy dominates, it kind of means that it's like, in this one example anyway, it's in place, it's basically just taking away from the striker. I assume, let's just check the box-to-box midfielder. So, and again, the box-to-box midfielder comes off, and he didn't have, in the other game he had loads of touches, so it's quite different. Like, it's sort of spread out quite differently. This game the other midfielders had way more. So if we just go back to that other match result. Did the striker get more involved in the build-up? Not much, to be honest. Not much. More dribble touches, so had to do more with the ball. But, yeah. So pretty interesting. You can just see in this game anyway, generally, we just had less passes across the board. We just... yep. But obviously every opponent is different. So, anyway, interesting. So it's something to keep an eye on for future matches. So, cheers. Catch you for the next matches.